welcome to Family Business World. I'm your host, Dr. Dale Caldwell, and I have someone that I've known for many years who's just a wonderful person, Larry Smith. Larry, how are you?
I'm fine.
Well, you are the founder of Life Support Systems and someone that I've known and admired for many years. As always, I wrote a book called Intelligent Influence, so I love origin stories. And so, where were you born, and how did you start this business?
I was born in Somerville, Mass. My father was a family practitioner. Part of that comes into play because I grew up in an environment of doctors and service businesses of my parents' friends. We moved to Newton, Mass, when I was 3 years old in 1947. And I went through the Newton school system, which was wonderful. The high school was the best high school in the country when I graduated in 1962, right? And then I went to Brandeis University for a couple of years, and it didn't quite fit with my personality. So my objectives. So I switched to Suffolk University, took courses in finance and business and psychology, oddly enough, and then went to Boston College Law School.
Interesting. So a lawyer. And so how long did you practice law?
I didn't. When I graduated law school, I went to work for Arthur Young, which was one of the big 8 accounting firms, with the objective to be a CPA and then be a treasurer of a public corporation or something, which didn't really quite fit with my personality. Paid off in the recession of 1971 with everybody that they hired the previous year except one person. I then ran a leasing business for approximately 7 years, and then started Life Support Systems and another company. And I'll just mention it briefly because it really rolls into Life Support Systems. It was then called Associated Mobile X-Ray. One of my father's friends, a radiologist that I knew all my life, said, it'd be really neat if somebody could do efficient portable X-rays and EKGs in nursing homes, rather than having your mother or your grandmother get in an ambulance, go to the hospital, wait in the ER, catch pneumonia, and die while they're waiting for a film. So I started both businesses at the same time. The portable X-ray business, I had sales force, marketing, etc. Grew very large, the biggest in the area, in New England. But at the same time, I had salespeople working with Life Support Systems, and there was an overlap because I had huge exposure to nursing homes, and also recognized what working for the leasing company, working in businesses, realizing there wasn't a lot of thought about in a business, what happens if there's an emergency? Having a first aid kit was a big deal.
Love it. Love it.
No training, right? In businesses, no CPR, first responder, OSHA programs, nothing that I saw there. So that rolled into my starting Life Support Systems. Shall I continue from there?
Well, let me, because you are, on previous shows I talk about the difference between a small business leader and an entrepreneur. And we think that small business leaders can become entrepreneurs, but not everybody has it instinctively. And you've had that in entrepreneurial mindset instinctively. Some people would say, well, I have no expertise here. I can't start a business. I've got to go through courses and so on. But you said, hey, there's an opportunity. We want to meet the opportunity. So tell me more about the evolution of the company.
And by the way, when I had the systems background, when I went to Brandeis, this is 1962. We learned how to program in Fortran and DOS.
Wow.
Remember, no computers. Memory was punch cards. But remember, how do you program? What do you think? Systems. And of course, working in public accounting, the same idea. I had the background to support a business. So back to how it started Life Support Systems. The portable X-ray business was running. And I saw an ad in the Boston Globe under business opportunities and Sundays, and it said business for sale. And it was a a small business. The guy had started renting portable oxygen inhalators, except they were archaic. They were cast iron tanks and wooden cases to businesses. And he had a couple hundred of them at $8 a month.
Wow.
But the concept's good, right? So I bought it. And from there, hired salespeople, signed up new businesses, and no, we weren't billing them $8 a month, and wrapped it into all the training programs as it grew, first aid cabinets, for example. Sure, people were doing it. Put a first aid cabinet in, stop by every 3 months and restock it.
Right.
We're at another company like Z Medical you might have had that started in 1971 doing that, but no training, none of the support stuff.
Right. Right.
And by the way, part of this is my father was very, very smart, and his thought processes were mentored to me as I grew up.
Right.
So life support system started. I hired salespeople and did some reasonably sophisticated marketing in those days. Mm-hmm. And it kept growing, and we kept adding the American Heart Association programs that didn't exist then. We were the first nonprofit American Heart Association training center in New England.
Oh, really? Wow.
I mean, for-profit. The nonprofit ones were like ambulance companies and stuff.
Right.
And then, but then now we're talking about my son Brett, who was 49.
Right.
He joined the business in 1998.
Okay.
By the way, the business started when he was 6 years old.
Did he help out as a kid? Did he do anything as a kid? Did you get him working? We find a lot of times that really helps.
Absolutely. Both him and my oldest son is 2 years older, Greg. Absolutely. Vacation time in the business. We're putting them around warehouse. When they got their driver's licenses, they would go out both the portable x-ray business, because there was, and deliver reports to nursing homes, deliver supplies to the x-ray techs, because I was spread out all around, basically eastern Massachusetts, basically from Worcester on in. And yes, they both grew up doing that.
Love it.
They were exposed to it constantly, and as Brett said, I watched everything you do as a kid. It's why I still think I keep have flashbacks of me sitting there watching you. And but Brett did an amazing job when he came in. Brett worked for previously first a food distribution business, and then for a vehicle leasing company. Okay, both in sales and doing projections, etc. So a very good background. Oddly enough, by the way, he leases our company vans from the same company.
Oh wow!
So he brought a lot to the business. I was very busy with the portable x-ray business, got very large. Brett went out in the field, marketing, re-looking at the accounts. He is the one that definitely brought in all the the continuing training, CPRs that was developed, etc. And then in 2000, AED came out.
Yeah, sure. Pick it up. Let me see. Let the audience see it a little closer.
I took it out of the bag.
Oh, love it.
This is a Zoll AED. That's one of their largest distributors.
Okay.
That was the bag that came in.
Ah, okay.
By the way, I'll also show you the emergency oxygen inhalator.
Wow.
We bought that business from that guy. There were iron tanks and wooden boxes.
And is that plastic casing? Is that a plastic what?
Plastic and aluminum tanks.
Oh, wow.
And as you can expect, what's the first thing when an ambulance shows up in an emergency? Oxygen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And these are all in companies, typically next to the AED, and they're used. Fortunately, and life support systems AEDs have probably if you look at that website, in the thousands of people have been saved because the company personnel have been trained. I mean, and we're talking everything: Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley,
Wow.
all the ShopRite stores,
Yep.
they save in a normal year.
Wow.
Fred had all the ShopRite stores. In a normal year, when there's no COVID, they save about 150 people a year.
Wow. Wow.
How many people go in a ShopRite on a daily basis?
Right.
Thousands.
Yep.
So statistically, someone's going to have a sudden cardiac arrest.
Oh,
And his staff immediately, he has numbers of municipalities. Every day or every other day, and then the police cars, never mind in the schools.
wow.
Every other day, every third day, car number so-and-so, use the AED last night, an emergency call, because they're first there before an ambulance company.
Right.
And it's very, very gratifying.
Larry, that is incredible. And so, I have a lot of wonderful guests on my show, but not many have saved as many lives as your business has. And so and I know you well, and you were a caring person, and so that really means a lot for the business. And so I encourage our audience to really look at, next time you go to ShopRite, see if you see life support systems, because you think odds are it's probably one of your products.
It's probably at the service desk hanging on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll continue. Airports, the whole Logan Airport, TF Green, which is part of and the one in Worcester in New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. And this is even very dramatic. We negotiated a contract years ago with the Mass Bay Transportation Company. So this is i.e. Jersey Transit.
Right.
Contract. And they have an AED in every control car, which is the car that's behind the engine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We're all trained, and in every station. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think there's over 300 of them there, mm-hmm. and they save people regularly. Mm-hmm. And the other one that's also I think very interesting, and this is going to be a story. Okay?
Yeah.
The infamous subway, Charlie on the MBTA.
Right.
They have AEDs at each subway.
Hey, Larry, we're going to take a commercial break now. We're going to take a break, and I want to hear this story because I know it's a good story, and I just love your business and what you're doing. I also want to hear this story, and I want to talk a little more about the transition to your son. Was it hard for you to give up the business, et cetera, et cetera? So we're going to take a couple minute breaks, and we'll come right back.
Connect to Success, where I interview power networkers in the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area. So join me every week, 12:30 on Thursdays during your lunch break, and now on Fridays at 9 and 9:30 p.m. We'll see you next week.
This plus this equals this plus this and this. Don't drink and drive.
What makes a temple owl? Meet Stella. She's wise, fierce, and she's not alone. Temple University, where owls call home. We are the cherry and white. The city is our classroom, and we lead the rush hour, making our mark on every field around the world. A world without Temple, well, that's like the sky without the North Star. Temple, never stopping.
The family law firm of Shemtab Dragonovsky Taylor will help you move through and beyond your divorce. We are a full-service boutique family law firm located in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. We handle cases in Montgomery County, Chester, Bucks, Delaware, and Philadelphia counties. We have 6 highly experienced lawyers and have represented clients for more than 30 years regarding these issues. Our clients depend on us to sort through the complicated issues involved in divorce and division of assets, spousal and child support, and custody. We listen to them, we gather the information, and we help them make informed decisions. We pride ourselves in our knowledge and our experience. We try to settle cases when we can, but we zealously advocate for our clients at trial as experienced and successful litigators. If you need help on any of these family life issues, please call us for an appointment at 215-542-2105 or check us out on our website at www.shemtablaw.com.
Welcome back to Family Business World. I'm your host, Dr. Dale Caldwell, with Larry Smith, the founder of Life Support Systems, a wonderful and very, very successful family business that saves more lives than any other guest I've had. So Larry, you were in the midst of the story before break, so I want to hear this story.
A couple of stories. One, when AEDs first came out, Brett marketed them to all the schools because, as you now may know, all the teams have to travel in the AED, right? And of course, in the schools, the school nurses has them, and it's one of the major account modes. When we first came out, where I grew up in Newton, well, now it's Duke High School, Newton South plays Wellesley on the Thanksgiving game, which is, I assume, traditional throughout the East Coast. I don't know, right? Big deal, right?
Right, big Thanksgiving game.
The Newton trainer got all trained AEDs, right? And he just got it, right? And he drives to Wellesley. It's a 20-minute ride, right? He forgot the AED. He went back and got it. Okay. Now envision, here we are in the Wellesley football stadium.
Right.
Everybody's watching. Guess what? The referee goes down.
Oh no! Oh boy!
Comes out and saves his life in front of everybody.
Wow!
I mean
wow.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
It's we go like this when things like that happen. We're in the schools. As I said, the municipalities, police departments, all the time are using their AEDs.
Do you have that on video? That Wellesley game on video?
This is like 2000.
Wow. Now you have another story. See, I love these stories.
One of the other ones that happened recently, as depending on how old you were when you moved from Boston, Dale.
Yeah, I was young.
Again, it's the subway system, and each station has life support systems AEDs that we maintain. And in Cambridge, there are two subway stations, Harvard Square, and Central Square. Central Square is what MIT is. So this happened just 2 years ago. And it was on security footage, right? A lady's walking along, goes down, has a sudden cardiac arrest. Another lady who was a licensed practical nurse or whatever, right away starts compressions.
Okay. Right.
And then one of the people in the station runs to get the AED, right? There were two electricians working there with a hard hat and yellow vest. They run over, right? Just like you see on television, bang, one shock, the woman's alive, right? And statistically, if you get to someone within 2 minutes, the survival rate on a sudden cardiac arrest is 90%.
Wow,
and
really?
It increases 10% every minute, right? So CBS, the local CBS station, interviews the people and the electricians, right? I'm going somewhere.
Right.
The electricians they said, how did you learn? They said, at our union hall, we get recertified every year. Guess who does the training in all of the electrician union halls all over the country?
I love it.
Life support systems, right?
Yeah.
And then it was picked up and was on the national news the next day on CBS.
Unbelievable.
Brett does all the training in union halls all over the country. Really, I become speechless with that.
Well, Larry, but let me ask you this then. Obviously, you love this. You love what you do. You love the company you created. You love your kids. You love my good friend Dina, your wife, and who's just an amazing coach and executive coach. I got to put a plug in for Dina because there's no better executive coach in the world than Dina. I've learned so much from her. So now you're making that transition to your sons. I mean, how do you give up the business? How do you walk away the business? We have family businesses. What's the process? How did you go through that?
First in 76 and a half with who's counting. Still with it. There was a point where, hey, Brett, this is your business. So this whole process of gifting the stock in the corporation, you have to, we won't go into that, talk to CPAs. And that was about 4 or 5 years ago. And Brett owns the stock of the company. And, you know, prior to that, he was president of the corporation anyway. So Brett owns the business. And while this was going on, I would very often travel, because I moved here in '92, you know, every 3 or 4 weeks to go up and work with the staff and whatever. And honestly, there really wasn't letting go, because this was a continuous process. Brett's amazing. As I said, he's been there since he was 27. What did Brett say? 22 years and 3 months ago.
Wow,
right?
wow.
And he's the one that really ramped everything up. The market was there. Brett recognized it, and with good salespeople, did an extraordinary job. He is recognized all over the country. Fortunately, I just saw something when I was researching one of the first aid cabinet companies called Z Medical. I was looking it up the other day, and then it went boom, and it was sold to by the big one, Cintas, and it went down national competitors, and it got boom, boom, boom down on the life support systems. Got in mass. It's this little guy.
Love it, love it.
There really wasn't any letting go. It's actually an absolute pleasure. This, say the least, I'm so incredibly proud of what he's done, and he can. The accounts he has are just name anything. Brooklyn Public Libraries, the Russian Icon Museum.
Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
Wow. And now your other son joined as well. Your other son is part of the business too.
You know, there isn't every other day, Brett and I, he calls me for 2 hours. Here's what's going on. Working through the pandemic has been extraordinarily difficult, as you can well imagine.
Yeah.
Because his staff inspects the AEDs and emergency oxygen twice per year to make sure they're okay. Well, good luck to getting into some companies. They do, and then training, you know, they would do a couple thousand training programs a year. They've now worked it all, so they're doing it virtually. But it's been very, very hard. And then the financial impact, you know, is dramatic. Working through COVID and the federal, so I'm the guy between him and CPAs. Remember, you know, I plan to work through cash flow problems and stuff like that. So yes, I am constantly involved, but he's planned this out. You know, and there's problems with purchasing and getting equipment. Brett has to source the batteries that go in the AEDs, the electro pads, and make sure you've got lots of inventory, because you may not be able to get it later on. And servicing, you know, this 10,000 AEDs.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now tell me about your other son. Now your other son has joined the business more recently, but he's in charge of marketing and other things. So tell me a little bit about his role in California.
Greg's 51 and lives in suburban LA in Woodland Hills, and has 2 amazing daughters, 17 and 13. He has been in the marketing business for years. Years ago, he worked for J2 Global as in the marketing department, and then started his own business, etc. And so he started getting involved with Brett, helping with software, obviously the website, and then said, I can do some of the inspections out here. Why are you sending people to LA, et cetera? So he's doing them himself, and closed the LA Water District, you know, major accounts. So he's probably spending maybe 2/3 of his time with life support systems now. And has set up a system for them to thoroughly document with the accounts where everything is. You go into place and no one knows where the AED is. And also, as you may not know, every doctor's office has one. Right. Every business you administer any sort of anesthesia has them. They're there. And there's tons of physicians have them, and the market keeps expanding. Greg's very, very, very smart, and it's kind of a pleasure. Brett has his older brother with him.
And again, it's a family affair, and So why is it, I talk to all these business folks who are successful, the family businesses. It's the backbone of America. It's the key to growing an economy, to creating jobs. So Larry, not to get in, I don't want to get into politics on either side, conservative or liberal, but, politicians on all sides seem to have forgotten that is what made America, the story. You hear the pride you talk about, your family's part of it. How do we, any thoughts on how do we get the leaders of this country to understand we need to make sure that small and local businesses are successful?
Well, we talked to, my wife's very, very active politically in Democratic politics in Pennsylvania and nationally. So we have had contact with, lovely contact with state senators and federal senators. And Pete Buttigieg. We met Pete Buttigieg a couple of years ago. Amazing guy. And talk about local stuff. I don't, honestly, I don't know. They understand local business is the heart of the economy. They certainly need incredible support now. By the way, when we mentioned the ShopRite chain, those are all, it's a co-op, those are all individually owned. These are the children or grandchildren of the grocers at the turn of the century. That's what the ShopRites came from.
Right. Right.
And they understand it. I'm not sure how. Do we encourage it in school? I'm not sure there's that type of entrepreneurship, or I don't know. I mean, I'm too old to have.
No, you're not, and so we're at the end of the show now, but one of the things that I think, I love telling these stories because here your business, the family business, really a national family business, is saving lives every day, and you're not on the New York Stock Exchange, and you're not, and so you are doing it with a loving touch, and so. So Larry, I just want to thank you so much for your time this morning. This 30 minutes goes by very, very quickly. And we're done. And so I just want to thank the audience for watching Family Business World. We will see you next week. I'm your host, Dr. Dale Caldwell, and support a family business if you can today. Take care. Bye-bye, Larry.
Thank you very much.